Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a new video. So someone recently asked me, how do I audit a Meta ad account? How do I know this client or this ad account that I'm auditing has the right structure within the ad account? How do I know the funnel is complete? How do I know it's not leaking? How do I know they're not wasting money on things they're not supposed to do in terms of creative settings and everything else? So that's what we're gonna do today. And as I said, the main goal here is to show you guys how to audit an ad account step by step. Now, if you're wondering why you even should listen to me, well, my name is Togar Beckol. I run an e-commerce marketing agency and an info marketing agency where we generate leads. Now, over the past year alone, I've probably audited over 200 ad accounts, and I've been doing this for over 7 years, guys. So I've seen my fair share of ad accounts, and as you can see here, this is one of the agency accounts that we have. We spent over 600K just in ad spend alone, and this is just for until this point of the year, and we're not even reaching Q4 yet. And as I said, this is one of the ad account. And in terms of Meta, we've spent over 2.5 million euros so far in ad spend, guys, not in conversion value. Okay, and as I said, just this year alone. So I'm gonna walk you through my thought process on how to audit an ad account and what to look for. First things first. So let's start with the basics, right? When I see an ad account or when I go into a Zoom call and I audit an ad account for a client or someone else, a prospect, I look at a few things here, right? First things first is, what is our main goal? Because if you don't know that, then the whole conversation is gonna go nowhere. So what does the ad account what's the purpose of the ad account or the client, right? Are they looking to get more profit, so POAS, ROAS? Are they looking to lower their cost per acquisition? Do they want more leads that book calls with their sales team or something? Or are they looking for more purchases, and is this an e-commerce store and they just want to scale further, right? These are very important questions to ask. So get that information first. Now, second is, what do we sell and who do we sell it to? Also very important. A lot of people, they don't even know their ICP, ideal customer profile. Like, if you don't know your ICP, then what I'm about to say next, later on this video, will make no sense, right? So you have to know your ICP. Second is, what is the budget and timeline we're working with here, right? Are we looking to scale today, tomorrow? Are we getting are we putting a strategy together for the next 3 months, and so on and so on, right? Okay, now let's go further down the line here and let's look at tracking and signals, because that's the first thing we need to look at when we look into the ad account, because there's no use talking numbers if we don't know the tracking is set up correctly. So are purchases or leads showing up inside the ads manager? Step one, right? Second, is the website or app tag installed, and are the right events selected? This is very important, guys. Like for e-commerce, this is pretty basic because everything is populated automatically, so add to cart, page views, initiate checkout, purchases, and so on. But if you're working with leads, then you also have to do this manually, and you have to set up everything correctly in terms of CRM, because not only do you want to know how many people are landing on my let's say VSL page or landing page, but you also want to know how many people go on to the next step. So maybe you have a lead magnet. Do people fill in the email? Do they get the lead magnet? And also, what happens afterwards? Do they book a call, or do they go to the next step, whatever the next step is for this business right here? So these are very important. Make sure that the tracking is set up correctly. If you can see the main actions, so like purchases or leads in the ad manager, then that's good. You can move on to the next step. But if you see UTMs missing in some ads, or do you see some tags misfiring, or it could be that they're over tracking or under tracking, very important. So ask the client as well, like, hey, when I'm looking in this ad account, are you over tracking or are you under tracking? And sometimes you should be surprised, because they say sometimes like, oh yeah, my ROAS is a 2, but actually it's a 3 or a 4 because it's under tracking. Now that tells you something immediately, because that tells you the whole ad account is basically flawed. So whatever you're gonna look into in terms of the numbers, it's flawed. You cannot take it serious, or you have to take it with a grain of salt. Now, let's assume everything is set up correctly. We're going to go to the next step, which is the account structure. So are we having too many campaigns or ad sets doing the same thing? Very important. I see this all the time. Duplicated campaigns, duplicated ad sets, duplicated creatives, and so on. Now, also, are we using the right objective here? Like if the client wants sales, or if you're, let's say it's your own ad account and you're looking to create more sales or create more leads, are you optimizing for those things? I know it's a very no-brainer questions for experienced media buyers, but you should be surprised how many ad accounts I audit where they're focusing on awareness or reach or clicks, while their main focus is sales and leads, right? And are we spreading budget thin across many tiny tests, which is also something that I see very often. I see like a bunch of ad sets. They all have like $4-5 attached to it. I'm like, it's going nowhere, because if the budget is too low, the AI or the algorithm cannot do its work, cannot find the right audiences with that budget. So you have to have a lot of budget. Now, if there's too many tiny ad sets, then what I like to do is I combine them, but more about that later down the line. So if the account has a clear structure with a few campaigns, doing clear jobs with clear objectives, could be sales or could be lead generation, then we're good. If they have a lot of duplication going on and overlapping ad sets, that is something to worry about, and you can see like why is that going on. If you see that the learning is limited everywhere in the ad account, then you have a bigger problem, because that means the algorithm cannot do its job, whereas the whole ad account is not set up the right way or correctly. Now, next is who we're reaching here. What are we doing here? Are we hitting past buyers too hard and calling them new? Like I see it all the time. People, they think they're trying to acquire new customers, but all they're doing is reaching old people, which is in the funnel, which you can see that in the ad account because the frequency go higher. If you see like a frequency of a 7 and 8, that means you're showing that same person the same ad 7 to 8 times, which is just around the gray area. Like it's just too much, a little bit too much. If you go, let's say, I've seen ad accounts going 15, 20, which is a lot, right? Like that means you're the creative that you're testing with is basically saturated, right? Like you're targeting the same people with the same ad sets, and that can get annoying over time. So what happens is your CPM goes up because Meta doesn't like you bothering people. If you show someone your ad for 15 times and they still don't buy, there is something going wrong, right? And also, yeah, like I said, Meta will punish you for that because the CPM will go higher. So there should be a clear distinction between the audiences. So there should be a section where they're targeting warm audiences, but there also should be a ad set or a campaign focused on only new people, right? Very important. So you can do that if they're targeting, you see, let's say lookalike audiences, or they're targeting broad or certain interest, that is okay. But if you see that they're retargeting too many people with high frequencies, that means they're just bothering people with that ad account, right? And if they're only targeting BOFU, bottom of the funnel, that means they're just not scalable at all. Perhaps they're focusing on profitability here, but still you can only milk so much from the funnel that you have. So you need to be careful with that. So look into that as well. Now, I want to show you guys what a good ad account looks like, the way we structure it within my agency. And it's kind of as follows. So as you know, I don't know if you know a funnel, but a funnel consists of, there we go. I don't know why my text, there we go. Tofu, we have a MOFU, and we have a BOFU. So TOFU stands for top of the funnel, MOFU stands for middle of the funnel, and BOFU stands for bottom of the funnel. And as we can see here, if we draw like this, then you can see it turns out to be a funnel here. So top of the funnel, here it's very important that we're targeting only people that don't know us yet. So yeah, these are people that haven't interacted with your business before, haven't seen your website, haven't seen your product at all. So the way we structure it is as follows. We have a campaign, this is the campaign, the Tofu campaign, and then we have some ad sets. So first ad set, what we have is usually a interest A, and then we have an interest B. We have a broad campaign here. Bear with me. There we go, broad. And then we also have a lookalike potentially. Now, what do I mean by interest A, interest B, broad, and lookalike? Well, interest A, it depends on what type of business it is, right? So let's say you're selling, I don't know, gym wear products, right? So gym clothing. So interest A could be anyone that is interested in fitness, weightlifting, could be anything, right? So that could be interest A, which is fitness and weightlifting. Interest B could be all types of sport. Could be running, could be yoga, could be marathons, could be whatever you can think of, right? Then we have broad, which is where we let the algorithm decide. So we just give it some more space. The algorithm is getting smarter by the day, guys. So, you know, understand that as well. We see a lot of success with broad, but it's not always. Some ad accounts, they do very well on broad, and some ad accounts, they do just much better when we decide which interests to target to. And then we have lookalike audiences where you can go into the ad account and you can populate a certain custom audience based on people that purchased from you in the past, or added something in their cart in the past, or filled in the lead form in the past, and so on and so on. So that's the lookalike audiences. Now, very important, guys, because don't forget, this is a tofu campaign. So that means top of the funnel, people that have not interacted with you. What you actually have to do here to make sure you're only actually targeting top of the funnel, because the whole Meta AI update has changed. Even if you target interest A, interest B, or broad, sometimes the Meta account still targets your existing customers. So what you have to do here to make sure you're only targeting people that haven't interacted with you or don't know your business, what you do is you also set inside the ad account a section where you exclude your own list. That could be your email list, that could be your website visitors, that could be anyone that purchased from you in the past. So you make sure you exclude these people, because then you know your ads are only targeting cold people that haven't interacted with your business before. If you don't do this, you'll still have a chance, or you still get some overlap. Even though you're targeting an interest, you can still be targeting some middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel, okay? Now, when we go to the middle of the funnel, these are people that already interacted with your business in some way or another. This could be website visitors. This could be IG engagement or Facebook engagement. But this could also be your email list, for example. But this could also be anyone that added to cart or initiated the checkout, right? Or fill in the lead form, for example. Now, this is your middle of the funnel, and this is where you retarget people, and preferably you want to retarget them with completely different assets and creatives as well. Top of the funnel is kind of where you introduce your offer, you get them hooked with a problem-solving solution to their whatever problem they have, and where they get to the product page or landing page or whatever page. And inside the MoFu, these are people that have already seen your product page or interacted with you somehow. This could be with your Instagram or Facebook. They could have liked something, commented something, saved something, or shared something with someone else. And these are people that are usually, warmer because they already know your face or know your brand, or have some kind of experience with the brand. Now, this is the MoFu, and then we have the BoFu as well. And these are, different kind of people. These are people that could be, someone that already purchased from you in the past, or this could be past purchases. This could be people that are very warm and they could initiated the checkout, for example, on your landing page or your e-commerce page, initiated the checkout there. And what we also like to do or incorporate in the BoFu is a Advantage Plus campaign. Now, Advantage Plus is a campaign where it kind of let the algorithm decide where to target to, and usually the audience or the Advantage Plus targets a lot of people inside the BoFu, and then once that gets depleted, it reaches out to new people. So the BoFu campaign is very useful for that as well. Now, let's move on to further deep diving into the ad account, and then looking also into the creatives and the messaging, right? Now, first things first is the creatives, what we're looking at. How are we doing in terms of the creatives? So does it attract attention to the clients, right? Or the prospects that you're trying to target. So the hook is very important. Do we have proof, reviews, demos before and after, or social proof creatives as well? Usually this type of creatives we use for middle of the funnel, and then a good hook, a good offer is what we do in the top of the funnel. Now also the offer itself, why should they act sooner than later? Why is this offer so no-brainer for them that they should buy right now? And if the offer is weak, guys, everything else kind of goes to waste. So I've seen a lot of good products, good website, good looking stuff with businesses that have a lot of ad spend to spend. But usually if we look at the offer and the offer is not compelling enough, so let's say they're selling an item, but someone else can purchase it from Amazon for twice as cheap. Why are they buying from you? What makes you special? What is the offer here? It could be a sale. It could be buy more, save more, so you have a brackets where you get a certain discount if you buy 2 or 3 or 4, but it could also be a BOGO, like, buy one, get one free, for example. So that's a good offer. The offer should be there. If you see a strong hook, body, and call to action in the videos or in the creatives, then that means the creatives are looking well. If they don't have any social proof, any reviews, any UGC content, then that's kind of an orange flag, I would say, because you kind of need that to nurture people who are not convinced of buying from you yet. These people need more reason. So you can give them more reason by having certain demos of the product or certain UGC videos sharing their feedback or testimonials, right? Now, if the message is unclear, it's not about the customer outcome, like the solution that they're trying to offer with their product. And it could be also emotional solutions, right? It doesn't have to be an actual solution in terms of like, making more money or saving more money, but it could also be like just looking better, right? If you sell fashion, for example, looking better is a outcome, okay? Now, if the creatives are good, we're going to look at a further step right down the line here, which is the landing experience, which is the customer journey. Like, where are we sending the traffic to? Very important. You can have an amazing ad, but if you're sending them to a product page that is not optimized for conversion, or a landing page, or a VSL page, or a lead magnet page, it doesn't matter. If it is not optimized for conversion, whatever the conversion is, you're just wasting money because you're getting the clicks, but you're not getting the conversions, right? So the page should be fast, it should be mobile friendly, and it should be obvious what to do. This is very important, guys. With e-commerce, I think it's pretty straightforward. You have an add to cart button, but if you're having lead magnets or you're trying to get someone fill in their details for a VSL or a webinar or whatever, an event, it should be very clear when they land on the page what is the goal and what is the next step that they need to take to get to their desired outcome. Now, on the landing page, there should be some trust going on. There should be reviews there. There should be some guarantees or some badges that can ease the customer and lower the barrier that they might have for buying. Also, there should be a clear contact and booking path. This is mostly important for logo and lead generation for online and local services, right? Now, for e-commerce, like I said, make sure that the reviews are above the fold, a sticky add to cart on mobile, so everything is very clear. They know the button, they know the next step at all times, and that button is available to them wherever they go. If you have, let's say, a lead generation funnel or a sales page, you have to make sure that the button appears multiple times on that page, because the last thing you want to do is someone scrolling through your VSL page with a lot of content, a lot of social proof, but the only button you have is on the top, so they have to scroll all the way back to the top. But every time, if you have multiple buttons, every time they read a section, it gets them convinced, they click the button. If they don't get convinced, they read the next section, and hopefully that gets them convinced, and then they can again click a button. If that doesn't work, they keep reading, and you keep showing the same button to take action, whatever the action is. All right, very important. So should be a click to call visible, or fill in the lead form somehow should be visible. Now, next thing is budget and pace. What are we looking in terms of that? Is most of the budget on what's working, or is it stuck on some weak stuff on the ad account? This is something that I see commonly as well. I see some big budgets on the ad accounts, but then I see the allocation of the budgets kind of don't make any sense. I see a campaign that has, for example, 4 or 5 ROAS, while another campaign is having 1 ROAS or 2 ROAS, and I see the allocation of the budget is the same. And I'm like, why is that? This campaign is obviously making you way more money. This campaign is probably making you even a loss. Why is the allocation of the budget the same here? Also, if the budget is not a lot and it's actually tiny, then we have another problem, because if you have too many campaigns, too many ad sets with too low budgets, that means they will never come out of the learning phase, whereas the algorithm is never going to know who your ideal customer profile is, so they cannot target properly. Also, when you're testing, make sure you're testing 1 or 2 simple tests at a time. Don't go for 10, 20, because that just minimizes your budget, whereas, again, like I said, the algorithm cannot do its job. So best thing you can do here is shift more budget to the best performing campaigns. I know sometimes, it sounds like a no-brainer, but you should be surprised how many ad accounts kind of neglect that. They're just testing, and they don't know what they're testing for, and once something works, they just keep testing, while instead they should be allocating more budget to the thing that kind of works. So very important, if you see campaigns that are clear waste of budget, and you see that they're actually making you a loss for each sale, then that should be killed instantly, obviously, right? Next thing is policy and friction. This is also something which is interesting, because sometimes an ad works very well, and then somehow we see, like, the next week we see like half the sales or even less than that. We're like, what's going on? The creative is the same, the landing page is the same, the offer is the same, yet we're getting half the sales that we are used to. Could be sales, could be lead gen, whatever. Now, it could be that you've got some spam comments or false comment claims on your post. So people, when they see an ad, they also usually check the comments. So keep an eye on the comments on your ads and see if there is not something that is hurting your trust or your brand, basically. Now, there is a way to do this. You can go to your Instagram or Facebook account, go to your settings, and you can block certain words. So, for example, scammer or false or never arrived or bad quality or things like China. These words you can automatically block directly. So this way you don't have to constantly keep an eye on the ads and read the comments. You can just make a list of certain words you want to block, and you can put that in, and every time someone comments one of those words, the whole comment gets hidden and nobody else see that. This is something that a lot of clients of ours forget. We always remind them, like, hey, make sure you have your list of blocked words or negative words that you don't want to see in your comments or that could hurt your brand. Next thing is payment issues and page quality issues. We have seen that happen as well. Not that likely, but sometimes, we have some payment issues. Someone offers Klarna on the website, buy now, pay later, but the integration has a bug or it's not working properly. So people, when they go and they want to check out with Klarna, it doesn't work. They get frustrated and just leave the website entirely. While that could be a sale, right? And look at the ad account as well. See if there's any rejected ads or any account warnings. If there are no account issues, there's no payment issues, then that's good. You can move on basically from there. Now, I also want to show you guys like what does a good ad account looks like. But first things first, let's recap here the essentials here. You need to know what we're doing in terms of the objective of the ad account. So planning is very important. Assessing risk is very important. Looking at the budget. Are we not overspending on campaigns that they shouldn't, or are we not having too many tiny budgets across the ad accounts? Landing page should be optimized. The creative should look good with a good hook, a good body, and a good CTA. Ideal customer profile, very important. Know who you're targeting to and adjust your descriptions and everything else to that. Because sometimes they have a video, they have their ideal customer profile, but if you look at the copy of the ad itself, it looks like they're talking to completely different people. So you don't get them. So, for example, if you're targeting the interest of, let's say, weightlifting or fitness, then make sure you also put that in the copy. So For your next workout, for your next squat workout, these leggings are the best, or squat proof, or whatever. Like, mention the words that the ICP uses as well. Next thing is structure. Like I said, I just showed you the structure, what it should look like: a tofu, a mofu, and a bofu. Tracking should be set up, and the goal should always be conversion, lead generation, or whatever. Don't focus on awareness or traffic ads. It's just a waste of budget. Now, how that looks like in a e-commerce ad account, it looks as follows. So usually what we do is we separate the campaigns by country: Germany, Belgium, Netherlands. This is what you see here, and then we have some Advantage Plus campaigns going on here as well. Now, these are the campaigns, and then if we look at the ad sets within the campaigns, we can see here we're testing lookalike audiences. We're doing some aggressive retargeting where we allow the frequency to go up as long as the ROAS are good. We're targeting website visitors, add to cart, 60 days. We're excluding the purchases. This is also very important. If somebody just purchased from you 2 days ago, exclude those people, because it's not likely they're going to buy from you directly right away. So usually we exclude 15 days. It depends on the brand, maybe 30 days sometimes. Again, look at the account, see what kind of products they're selling, and then decide from there. Next thing is we can stack interest in a campaign as well, which is an interest stack campaign. It could be a sandbox campaign as well, where we just put a lot of creatives into the ad set, and we call it a sandbox because we're just testing creatives. Okay, so this is what it looks like within the ad account itself of an e-commerce. This is another one where we just focus on one country, where we target interest broad, and then certain topics. And this is the creatives, where we can also name them in terms of what the creatives are about. So first things first, a few things when you look at the creatives. This is a section where I call if this, then do that. So if you see a creative has a low CTR, which is a click-through rate, then that means you need to test new hooks, new angles, because the first 3 seconds matter. If you see people seeing the ad and they're scrolling right past it, that means the hook is weak, so you need to optimize that. If you're getting clicks but you're getting no sales, then obviously there's something wrong with your page or your offer or your price. So see what you can do with that, make it more compelling to customers to get to the offer or to buy the offer, or make them act sooner than later, right? If you have good results but you can't scale, then consolidate and test new, fresh creatives, because that usually helps the scaling process. Because usually if you test only the same creatives, you get creative fatigue, whereas the ad account slowly starts performing less and less and less. So always make sure that you have a batch of new content ready to be tested. If you see high frequency, then rotate the creatives or widen the reach, because otherwise you're just bombarding the same people with the same creatives, which can get annoying after a while, like I said, and you get ad fatigues as well. If you have many add to carts, but there's a big dropout rate, then look at your shipping, look at your fees, look at the frictions that are going on. Maybe they get surprised in the checkout with a $50 shipping fee, which they didn't, which they weren't counting on. Usually that can be prevented if you are very transparent with the shipping, pricing, and the policy on the product page or the landing page itself if you're selling a product. So make sure that's there, because when they go to the checkout, they will not get surprised, and the dropout rate will be just way less. Now, for lead generation, obviously it's a little bit different. So here what we have is for example, you can send traffic if you're, if you're a personal brand and you're trying to get leads. It could be a, let's say you're selling a course or an info product or whatever, a coaching. Then these parts are very important. You have to have your tofu. These are people. Could be certain interests, could be broad. In this case, it depends on the funnel as well. Some people send them to VSL pages. Some people send them to IG DMs. Some people send them to lead magnets. Whatever the goal is, in this case, is DM ads. We're trying to get as many people to react on the campaign or the offer through a DM ad, and then the appointment setter usually takes over of that ad account and then warms the ICP up and tries to get them to a sale. Now, this is kind of the ad sets that we're looking at. So we have some traveling interest, broad, lookalike audiences, engagement, which are website visitors, or if you have a community, let's say a school community or a circle community, you want to retarget those people which are in your community. It could be a free community. These people that are already in your community are very warm. So these are category MOFU, even BOFU, I would say, when they're in the community. These are people that are already consuming your free content, so you want to offer them the, let's say, the coaching or the program or the mentorship, and these people you need to be targeting as well. So guys, that's it. That's kind of how an ad account should be structured. I hope you got some value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.